Hey dark-themed comics fans! Are you ready to take your love for comics and pop culture to the next level? Introducing DTC Shop, your ultimate destination for custom-designed t-shirts and awesome digital comics. Whether you're into horror icons, anime legends, or the dark and gritty world of the boys, we've got something for every fan. Our high-quality, 100% cotton tees let you wear your fandom with pride, while our digital comics bring you epic stories you'll be hard-pressed to find anywhere else. So why wait? Head over to DTC Shop now and gear up with the coolest merch and some of the most underrated comics in the game. Because being a fan isn't just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And now, our feature presentation. In 2019, DC Comics launched a horror imprint called Hill House Comics, curated by acclaimed horror novelist Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King. As part of DC's mature readers line under DC Black Label, Hill House Comics offers a fresh and distinct line of horror-themed titles that combine dark supernatural elements with powerful storytelling. It quickly became known for blending terrifying narratives with deep, character-driven drama, all while delivering high-quality visuals from some of the industry's top artists and writers. Joe Hill had already made a significant mark in the comic book industry through his critically acclaimed series Lock and Key. With Hill House Comics, he brought his expertise in horror to DC, aiming to create a brand that would produce horror comics designed to scare, disturb, and engage mature readers. The imprint's goal was to provide readers with stories that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the best horror literature and films, tackling themes of fear, family, trauma, and the unknown. Hill served not only as a writer but also as the mastermind behind the entire line, curating titles from other talented creators and contributing his own writing. The titles released under this imprint reflect Hill's love for classic horror, while also exploring innovative and modern horror concepts. In interviews, Hill described his approach as wanting to offer horror stories that get under your skin, not just through gore but through character-driven tales that provoke an emotional response. Hill House Comics launched with a series of limited-run titles, each of which brought something unique to the table. Let's take a closer look at the most notable of them. Set in the small town of Brody Island, Basketful of Heads is a mix of slasher horror and supernatural intrigue. The story follows a woman named June who finds herself in possession of a Norse magical axe that has the ability to decapitate people, yet leaves their heads sentient and capable of speech. The series blends revenge, dark humor, and supernatural horror, all while serving as an ode to 1980s horror films. This was the flagship title of the Hill House Comics imprint, offering readers a thrilling, gory, and darkly comedic narrative that set the tone for the entire line. This series introduces readers to Alice, a young girl who inherits a creepy and seemingly magical dollhouse from her mother. But the dollhouse is more than a child's toy. It houses dark secrets and an ancient evil. The narrative jumps back and forth between Alice's troubled childhood and her adult life as the sinister powers of the dollhouse continue to haunt her. The Dollhouse family stands out for its ability to tell a haunting multi-generational story, blending cosmic horror with psychological drama and familial trauma. It also incorporates themes of abuse and identity, making it a poignant, emotionally resonant horror story. Set in the decaying town of Shudder to Think, Pennsylvania, this series follows best friends Elle and V as they discover strange occurrences that include people losing their memories, supernatural creatures lurking in the shadows, and nightmarish visions. The story mixes body horror, eerie atmospheres, and psychological suspense, while also dealing with themes of identity, gender, and trauma. The Low Woods adds a unique feminist perspective to the horror genre. It is deeply unsettling while also reflecting real-world themes like memory, agency, and the impact of violence on the body. Plunge is a 6-issue miniseries that takes readers into a cold, desolate Arctic landscape. The story involves a salvage crew hired to retrieve a ship that has been missing for decades. When they arrive, they discover that the crew is still alive and that they've uncovered something much older, and much more dangerous, beneath the ice. Blending elements of Lovecraftian horror and eco-horror, Plunge explores mankind's exploitation of nature and the terror that lurks in the unknown. This series is a love letter to classic horror, evoking the works of John Carpenter and H.P. Lovecraft. Hill delivers a slow-burn horror story that is atmospheric, tense, and deeply unnerving. Set in the late 19th century, Daphne Byrne tells the story of a young girl who becomes possessed by a strange, supernatural entity after the death of her father. As Daphne navigates her grief and her strained relationship with her mother, she finds herself drawn deeper into a dark world of occultism and forbidden magic. This series focuses on Gothic horror and explores themes of possession, power, and rebellion. With its period setting and stunning artwork by horror legend Kelly Jones, it evokes classic Gothic horror stories like The Turn of the Screw. Serialized in the back pages of each Hill House Comics issue, Sea Dogs tells the story of werewolves used as a secret weapon during the American Revolutionary War. The British Navy faces a supernatural threat as the werewolves stalk their ships from within. Sea Dogs serves as a fun, action-packed companion story to the main titles and shows Hill's penchant for taking classic horror tropes and giving them a unique twist. The Hill House Comics line emphasizes several key themes that make it stand out in the horror genre. Many of the titles focus on the dark, twisted nature of family relationships and how trauma can haunt generations. Whether through ghosts, ancient magic, or eldritch entities, the stories explore supernatural elements that go beyond simple jump scares, creating an atmosphere of dread and mystery. The characters are often deeply flawed and emotionally complex, adding a psychological layer to the horror that makes the stakes feel more personal and relatable. Hill House Comics falls under the DC Black Label, an imprint known for its focus on mature content and creator-driven stories. The Black Label gave Joe Hill and the writers working on Hill House Comics the creative freedom to explore more adult themes, graphic violence, and psychological depth. This creative freedom helped the line stand out, even in a crowded comic book marketplace. The Hill House Comics imprint was well received by critics and readers alike for its storytelling, character depth, and unique approach to the horror genre. It brought a fresh wave of attention to horror comics, a genre that had fallen somewhat out of the mainstream. The combination of well-crafted narratives, stunning artwork, and innovative horror concepts helped to solidify Hill House Comics as a landmark horror initiative within DC's library. While Hill House Comics is still relatively new in the grand scheme of comic history, its ability to draw top-tier writers and artists, coupled with Joe Hill's expert guidance, has ensured that it remains one of the most compelling modern horror comic lines. Given Joe Hill's success with Lock and Key and his background in both horror novels and screenwriting, fans have speculated about the possibility of live-action adaptations of the Hill House Comics stories. While nothing has been officially announced as of now, the unique and visually rich nature of these horror stories makes them ripe for television or film. DC's Hill House Comics imprint is a modern horror lover's dream. Curated by Joe Hill, it provides a mature, character-driven approach to horror, offering a wide array of terrifying tales, from supernatural revenge to cosmic terror. With its emphasis on emotional complexity, psychological horror, and twisted family dynamics, Hill House Comics stands as a testament to the power of the horror genre within the world of comic books.